Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We're discussing the relationship between Allah and creation. We've reached a point where we've given a name to this relationship. It's one of encompassment, where we have Allah as the encompasser, and the encompassed is creation in general. And we've given one or two analogies, the best one being the mind and that which the mind produces. The mind also is the encompasser. With Allah, Allah is the encompasser, and the encompassed is creation. And creation is in unity with the encompasser. Creation can't be without the encompasser, because the very fabric and core, every atom, every quark of its existence, or even smaller, it's all through him. Like the thread example, you can't have a pair of socks without thread. So they're in unity with one another, but one is encompasser, one is encompassed. And the encompasser generates, produces, and manifests. And the encompassed are manifestations, products, and generations of the producer, generator, and manifestor. Now here, we see that with any given thing, all the attributes, let's go back to the thread shop, the clothes shop, any attributes of beauty that a piece of clothing has, who do you attribute it to? You attribute it to the thread, because that pair of socks has no reality without the thread. It's non-existent without the thread. Or the attribute of beauty, or any other attribute you give to the mental picture of the apple, you attribute that beauty of the apple, for example, to the mind, because the very fabric of that mental picture of the apple, it's the mind. The mind is present existentially throughout the mental picture. So much so, if there's no mind, that apple is non-existent. Now, with Allah and creation, any created being, it has certain attributes. And in reality, all those attributes have to be attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, all attributes are Allah's. All attributes are traced back to pure existence. And Allah doesn't share His attributes of perfection with anyone. It's not possible. If you introduce sharing of attributes, you've become a polytheist, in the spiritual sense at least. You've limited Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore it's not correct to say that Allah has 100% knowledge and we have 1% of knowledge. Or Allah has 100% light, we have, or a candle has 1% of light. Or Allah has 100% of power, power, knowledge, light, all these are attributes of perfection. But Allah has 100% of power, we have 1% or 10% of power, or whatever. Look, it's not correct to say such a thing, because here, this kind of wording is implying that Allah is sharing knowledge with us, sharing His power with us. Whereas that which is correct to say is that we, or any created being, let's say humans for example, we essentially have 0% of knowledge, 0% of power, 0% of life, 0% of light, and so on and so forth. The creation and created beings and creatures, they only manifest existentially through Him. It's all Him. They just manifest only through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, they can manifest as a result of their grid of existence. How much of Allah can they manifest? Some things can manifest 10% of Allah's knowledge. Some things, as a result of their grid of existence, can manifest 20% of Allah's knowledge, 30%, 40%. But its knowledge is His. Not that we essentially have also 10% or 20% of knowledge. No. We essentially have 0% of knowledge. But we can manifest knowledge. But all knowledge is His. We can manifest power. All power is His. So we are never independently the owner of any knowledge, power, or any attribute. All attributes are His. This is Tawheed in attributes. Okay, so here, this idea that we share attributes with Allah, but the only difference is quantitative, okay, that Allah has 100% of knowledge, we have 10%. And here, the only difference is that one of quantity. Qualitatively, knowledge is knowledge. I have it, Allah has it. But quantitatively, Allah has 100%, I have 10%, for example. And so here, this would be a form of shirk, because you're saying that knowledge is mine too. I have knowledge. It's just that quantitatively, I don't have knowledge like Allah, but I have knowledge too, albeit 1%, and you attribute it to yourself, that 1%. So qualitatively, you're sharing with Allah. Quantitatively, you're not sharing with Allah, because Allah has 100, you have much less. But qualitatively, you're sharing. You're in partnership with Allah in knowledge. This is how people, they may not word it like this, but that's how they believe in the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deep down, without them being aware of it. So this would be a kind of attributing partnership to Allah. This is shirk. And it's, spiritually problematic. It's compromising. And so we believe that all attributes are His. Nothing is ours. We're nothing. We exist through Him, by Him. He's the first, the last, the outer and inner of us. And here, some other analogies which have been given are, imagine a number of mirrors. And there are a number of mirrors, some large, some small, and they're all arranged in a particular fashion during the day on the plains of a desert. And they're all arranged in a particular manner, and they're arranged differently. And then the sun shines on all of them naturally during the day. Here, some mirrors will reflect more light than others because of the way they were arranged or because of their sizes, for example. Here, can one say that these mirrors are in partnership with the sun in relation to light and the reflection of light? Can you say that the mirrors are in partnership with the sun, light-wise and reflection-wise. Can you say that? Of course you can't. But that's how many people may believe, that the sun is 100% light and these mirrors are, let's say, 1% or 10% or however much. If you say that, you've put the mirrors in partnership horizontal to the sun. Whereas in reality, the mirrors have no light, essentially. Essentially, they don't reflect any light. The light, all of it, is the sun's. The mirrors just manifest, and that on a par with their size and arrangement, they manifest the light of the sun. But light is all the sun's. The mirrors, they just manifest a degree of light. Not that they behold a degree of light, which is just quantitatively less than that which the sun has. So even amongst the mirrors, none of the mirrors can pose that I have more light than you. Creation-wise, that would be problematic. All the mirrors are equal. They're nothing. No mirror is higher than the other. Yes, some mirrors may manifest more light than others, but no mirror, because of their size and what they're manifesting, can say, I am a better creation than you. Creation-wise, that is. Creation-wise, they're all equal. But how much you manifest the light of the sun, yes, some will manifest more than others, but intrinsically, light is not theirs. It's all the sun's. And so, the mirrors have no light. They only manifest it, and the light is Allah's alone, and the sun's alone, and the sun is not in partnership with any mirror. Now, let's project all that with Allah and creation. With the mirror, it was light, the attribute of light. With all attributes, it's all Allah's. And all these different forms of creation, they don't intrinsically bear or contain or have any attribute whatsoever. They are pure nothingness, without existence, without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they manifest this pure existence. They manifest Allah on a par with their creation. Depending on the grid of existence that this particular given creation has, they can manifest a degree of a given attribute of Allah. But creation-wise, all creation, be it a dog, a human, the sun, creation-wise, the fact that they have no attribute themselves, they are nothingness by themselves, creation-wise they're all equal. But how much they can manifest the different attributes of Allah, that's a different story. They can manifest a given attribute to varying degrees. So a human being can manifest more attributes of perfection than an animal. And if they don't manifest as a human has a potential to manifest those attributes of Allah, if they fail, they become on a par with an animal, perfection-wise, even worse than an animal, because the potential of that animal was much less. Okay, inshallah we'll continue a bit more and then we'll enter the next phase. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.